Hey everybody, Jay here. I'm back with another video for you guys today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about 8 scale buggies. I've got 4 different 8 scale buggies that we're going to be reviewing and doing a shootout. And I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about the cars and a little bit about why I chose them. There are 2 basically American designed cars, the TLR and the associated e-buggy. And then we've got 2 Japanese designed cars, and that's the Kyosho Mp10e and the Mugen MBX8r Eco. Now, to be completely fair, every car in this review is literally just released, brand spanking new, outside of the Kyosho. The Kyosho is a little bit dated, so I'm probably going to spend a little bit of time and put the new longer front shocks and a taller front tower on the Mp10e. In years past, I've always kind of made an effort to use the kit setup and kind of judge everything just based on the kit. But let's be honest, as racers, that's really not how we race our cars. We race them decked out. Ceramic bearings, titanium turnbuckles, who knows what it could be for a setup. We all know that tires can play a huge role. And so this time, we're probably gonna start off with a pretty proven base setup for each car. And then not only myself, but I'm gonna recruit a few other guys that have similar and higher skill levels than my own, and maybe even a few guys that have lower skill levels, just so that we can kind of go across the board. And we're going to talk about all the cars. We're going to discuss, of course, we're going to discuss all of the original features, the original attributes we've always done. Acceleration and braking, cornering, stability, jumping and landing, all of these things, not to mention value, what's in the box versus all of the aftermarket parts that some of these cars actually need to be competitive. But for now, I just thought I'd give you guys a quick update to what we're doing. I'm going to release separate unboxings just because it would make for an incredibly long video to have 4 separate unboxing videos inside of one review video. I have a feeling that these 4 cars are going to turn out to be, they're going to end up being a bunch of content here on Short Course World. So I'm pretty excited about that. I want you guys to know 2 things. I purchased 4 Tekin RX8 and 1900 kV motor combos. I've always liked the Tekin stuff. It's been good to me. Tekin themselves actually sent me 1 motor and 1 speed control to use as a backup, so we kind of have a safety net when we're out there traveling in case something goes wrong. So thank you to Tekin. The guys over at A-Main Hobbies were cool enough to send over 4 of their servos as loaners. They got to go back or purchased or whatever when the review's done, so we'll see how this all works out. But the ProTech 170 servos are just absolutely amazing servos, and so I'll show you guys pictures and links to all this stuff in coming videos, but I just wanted to give you an update, let you know what's going on. We're probably going to do most of the video or the running down at Channel Islands Raceway, which is down in Santa Barbara, and if you guys are here in California and you haven't made your way over to Santa Barbara, get over to Santa Barbara. You will absolutely love it. The weather's beautiful, the dirt's awesome, the elevation changes are awesome. Grady and all the guys over there, Gary, all you guys, they do a great job at putting in super fun layouts, and they work really hard to keep the facility just in good shape. So it's literally my 2 favorite facilities to go race or drive an 8 scale buggy here in California by a country mile are Thunder Alley and Channel Islands Raceway. And to be fair, I'm leaning towards Channel Islands just because the weather tends to be a little bit more tame when the summers are really hot. So with that said, come on over, let's take a look at some of these cars. So this is the Kyosho Mp10e. It's probably due for a little bit of an update considering the Nitro buggy is the Mp10 TKI2. This is a prototype version of our new Nighthawk buggy, but I'll get rid of that. Right now you guys can see that we've got 2 long 3D printed batteries in the car. Those are just for photograph purposes. We're going to be running all ProTech batteries. These are a couple of shorties. So this is the battery we're going to be running in the Mugen buggy. And then we've got these 2 shorties, which we're probably going to run in the Kyosho, and we're going to run these same batteries in the associated RC8 B4E. This is the body that it actually came with, and it's a little bit beat up because I decided to run this new body on my old Kyosho Mp9e TKI. And I actually like the look of it. It's pretty clean. It's pretty crisp. You can see I was a little bit rough on it. One of the things I like about the Kyosho bodies is that they come with the nose built right in. But let's get that out of the way for now. You can see right off the rip that things are quite a bit different. We've got saddles on full size, saddles on each side of the car, kind of like a traditional 2S saddle that you can run in series. The receiver box is back here. Of course, I've got the Kyosho MP10e already wired up with a 1900 kV motor. I love this style of motor mount. This motor mount that actually allows everything to slide back and forth. I'm a huge fan. It's a little different. The motor being rotated up front, the servo up nice and close. This is that ProTech 170 SBL, which is just, these ProTech servos, they're pretty incredible. I've really gravitated towards two brands of servos over the last few years. I either run Savox, I used to always run the 2274s, or the ProTech stuff. And I've ran them in 10 scale, run them in 8 scale. I did get a bunch of the Spectrum servos dirt cheap a few years ago, so I ran a little bit of that stuff in my 10 scale. But far and away, my first choice is, when I'm spending my own money, is either the ProTech or the Savox servos. That's just the way it is. So you'll see that things have changed compared to the older generation of cars. The shock bodies have a different style of anodizing, a harder anodizing. And gone are the familiar blue and orange springs from the last generation of cars. Here we have red springs on the front with like a lavender or purple spring on the rear. And we finally have emulsion style caps in the Kyosho. Now this stuff isn't incredibly new, you guys. Please keep in mind that it's been a while. I've been head down, just grinding for the last few years, trying to keep the business growing and kind of making new products and stuff like that. But I'm incredibly excited to get out and run these cars. I've just been having so much fun. The Kyosho is just an incredibly proven platform. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's easy to drive. It's forgiving in the rough. If you're going to choose a C-Hub car and you want something that's easy to drive, it's hard to deny. It's hard to dispute the fact that the Kyosho is just a good car, just a good platform. There were some things that I didn't really care for in the olden days. In the olden days, some of these towers, like you notice that the shock tower has like this kind of gunmetal, but the chassis has this real nice kind of like yellowish tone to it. That's because the chassis is actually hard anodized, just like the shock bodies. But the shock towers are gunmetal. And in the old days, when you reordered these shock towers using the same part number, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you would actually get hard anodized versions. And so I kind of feel like they always use the gunmetal stuff to kind of keep the kit costs down. All in all, taking this car right out of the package, I got a feeling that it's going to be quite competitive, but I do know that after speaking to a variety of different people, they do feel like it's worth upgrading, specifically the front shock package to the longer tower and the longer shock bodies. You can see the arms are now filled in completely. There's no more gaps in them. And I've got another video we're going to do where we're going to show you this car compared to its one generation back predecessor and then an even earlier predecessor that I still have and run and love. So anyways, this is just a quick overview. We're going to run the ProTech 170 SBL. We're going to run ProTech batteries, Kyosho MP10e Speedo, and a 1900 kV motor. And we'll see what we end up with for a setup. Once we actually have a setup that we're super happy with, I'll post all the stuff for you guys. And whichever car I like best, I'm just going to go ahead and run that sucker as my personal race car. So let's get this thing out of the way. And now, this is what I've been racing. Not this car, but this brand. I've been running Mugen stuff for years. I loved my Kyosho stuff in the old days, but for whatever reason, it just never seemed to be quite as durable as I guess needed it to be. I always felt like with the Kyosho stuff, it was the easiest to drive. But man, if you made a mistake, you paid the price, and a lot of times you didn't finish the race because of it. So I have our Nighthawk, the Rossby Nighthawk body on. I'm going to pull this off. I didn't paint up the kit body. Probably just sell it off or give it away to a local. But again, I have these 3D printed. These are just little plastic blocks that were printed. Again, ProTech 170 SBL servo, Kyosho MP10e with a 1900 kV motor. Again, I love this. Again, this style motor mount has been and always will be my favorite. I'm not a big fan of the clamping style motor mount. I know that there are people that like them and they have good reasons for it, but this car has just been, I think the hallmark of the Mugen car is just a car that is just elegant. When I think of this car, I just think of an elegant race car. It does really well on smooth tracks, smooth high grip tracks. This thing is just absolutely lethal. It's easy to work on. The durability has increased substantially as the years have gone by. Now it's got these arms that are completely filled in on the bottom, front and rear. And then you can add, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can add plates to make these things more rigid. You can put carbon fiber plates in here. And so you can run the Shorty battery that I purchased. This is the Protect 6400 milliamp. Let's see if there's a part number on here. It looks like it's the 5131. So you can run this battery right here. But I actually have a long and a longer, slender version of one of these. So I may end up running something like one of these and just moving everything back, just because I really like to keep the CG down, and it gives you extra clearance for the body. So we'll see what happens over time. But so this is build number 2. The only thing that's different, you see I haven't put the shock boots on the car just yet. The only thing that's going to be different in this car, because there's there's an 80% likelihood that the Kyosho or the Mugen are going to be my personal race car. So I bought a set of universals for this car in case the track gets super rough. And it's got the MIP bypass pistons in there. Many of you guys probably may or may not know Adam Drake is one of my super close buddies. And so not only do I run this car because the car works great and it's just a good handling car, a good value. But it's always nice to have a buddy that's running the same or similar stuff just for support. You know, if you break something you don't have to have a whole second kit waiting in the wings. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped to get this thing out on the track here real soon and see how she goes. There have been a few updates over the years to this car. This also has emulsion shock caps, and probably the biggest thing, there's been a variety of changes to the MBX8r Eco. This new wing mount is a significant update. You see I've got it just almost all the way up. You can see it's way, way up. And probably the thing that's biggest, in my opinion, are the C and the D block is now much narrower, which I believe, for the most part, allows the car to be tuned a little bit more, to have a little bit more rear bite. And so we'll talk about that in another episode. So those are the first 2 cars. The Kyosho Mp10e and the Mugen MBX8r Eco. Same electronics, same steering servo. Heck, these ones even have the same tires. These have our new generation of Super Mini that we just released here about a week or so ago on. They're not glued yet, but we're going to glue these babies up. And we're going to get these things out on the track. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update, let you know that we've been keeping super busy over here. I probably bit off a little bit more than I realized when I decided to do a 4-car review or a shootout. The amount of wrenching, just my credit card's on fire. All these cars were purchased, none of these cars were given to me. I did buy them online and I did get some pretty good deals on them. So, but still, I purchased every motor and speed control. Every car was purchased. There is one additional spare motor and speed control that we got from Tekin. That's right here. I just opened it up. This is the spare. And so thanks to Tekin for sending this out, just so that we kind of have a safety net. We want to be able to the goal is to be able to run all 4 cars on the track at the exact same time. So I don't know if this has ever been done before. I don't know if it'll ever be done again. My wife's going to kill me for spending as much money as I did, but we've got the TLR, the brand new TLR car, which can be built as a nitro or an electric. We've got the brand new Mugen e-buggy, the newest generation of Kyosho e-buggy, and then of course the associated. So I'm truly glad to be back making content, you guys. Something happens when you get into YouTube. When you do it, when you start out, you're doing it purely for fun, and you kind of up your game. And you want to have a better production quality, you want to have better, more entertaining content, better camera gear. And at some point, it's overwhelming to even click record. And I promised myself that I would get back to doing the things that I loved. And unfortunately, my production quality, it just may have to sacrifice. But it's important to me to get back in front of the camera, get back out on the RC track and have some fun and share it with you guys. As always, I'm not encouraging you to buy anything. I would never ask you guys to do that. I just thought it'd be fun for you guys to come along with me on this little journey. I know there are a bunch of cars I missed. If we get this video done and it goes well, maybe I'll reach out to the guys at Techno, see if they'll loan me a car. I can build it up, do a video, and then they can give it to one of their team drivers or something like that. Same thing with S-Works. I think the S-Works is a great car. I think there's a lot of great cars that are out there. But for now, I kind of thought the TLR and the Associated were the two American designed cars, one C-Hub, one pillow ball, and then you've got the two Japanese cars, one C-Hub, one pillow ball. So I thought that would make for a pretty entertaining shootout, if you will. So thanks for watching and stay tuned.